This video will help you to cite sources that professors give to you. A lot of the time, you're reading things that have been posted online in your classes. Your professors put PDFs and other types of materials up on Canvas. And then, as a student, if you want to use those in something you write and you're required to cite your sources, well, you may not know what to do, especially because you probably have incomplete information some of the time from professors. Like I know myself, I load things all the time and may not give the full title of a book, or maybe I don't have page numbers or something like that. Maybe I've cut up several books and I put them together and scanned them for my students. So, what do? If you're the student and you need to cite this information, well, here's what you do. You're going to use what you have and you're going to cite the resource the way your professor gives it to you. That might sound confusing, and it's normal to be confused. If you even start Googling how to use cite a source a professor gives you, you might find information that conflicts with what I say here in this document and in this video. So, the way I like to do it is what I'm showing you in this resource because the main concern is right here. You're going to include as much information as you have so that someone else could look at your source. They could basically go look it up on their own and they know where it came from. If you're using MLA, you're going to follow the steps that I have here. Your in-text citation is going to look like this down here in blue. And for your bibliographic page, I should add that here. This is for actually, it's a works cited in MLA. There are different terms used depending on the citation style. I know that's frustrating as a student, and you can even hear me stumbling over my words as I'm making a video. When you're in MLA, the reference list that comes at the end of a paper is called a works cited page. And this is an example of a works cited entry. When you look at this, you can see that it has indentations under the last name. That's called a hanging indent, and I show you how to do that in a different document. I don't want to focus on that right now, but to say this is what a reference looks like on a works cited page. And again, this is an MLA. Now that's at the end of a paper. Inside of the paper itself, where your writing is, you have in-text citations. Those come at the ends of sentences, usually in parentheses. Your in-text citation would use the professor's last name, so it would be like this. If you have the page number, you include it. So let's pretend like you're citing something from page 2 of something that I put on Canvas. Your citation would look like this in MLA. That's okay, but the problem is that in-text citation doesn't really say much about the original author. I mean, what if I, Dr. V, am not the author? Well, you should clear that up at the sentence level. So watch how that happens where in your sentence you introduce the source material. Let's say you've been reading an essay by Ralph Waldo Emerson called Self-Reliance. At the sentence level, you can handle that by saying something like this. In Emerson's essay entitled Self-Reliance, he explains that every heart should vibrate to its iron string. Let me break that down for you. You were given something by me on Canvas that was written by Emerson. It's an essay called Self Reliance, and you chose this quote from it, or this passage here, from page 2. It's kind of complicated. If you just cite it as Vincelet 2, it does sound like I wrote the thing, but I didn't. It was Emerson's essay, Self Reliance. So, as a student, if you handle that at the sentence level like this, it resolves the clarity issue. And that is my recommendation. If you're working from a source in a book or other type of publication and not from a resource uploaded by a professor, your citation is going to look really different. So just take note that the style recommended here in this video and in this document is only when you're given a reading assignment online, like on Canvas, and you don't have complete access to the full bibliographic information. Now that's for MLA. What happens if it's APA? Well, if you're given something to read and you're being asked to write in APA style, what you're going to do is going to look more like this. It's actually not hugely different, but I can point out what some of the differences are. One is that you don't use the full name of the researcher. APA was a little bit ahead of the curve as far as being gender neutral. So you can't tell what gender somebody is by guessing with their name in APA because just the initial is used. The other thing that you see in APA is the year comes immediately after the last name and the first initial. The rest of it, it's pretty similar for this. Now, you're going to have the same problem with the in-text citation not exactly giving all the information about what you're doing. So I have it written out here exactly like it was above, except in APA style, where it's the last name and the year. And then if you're directly quoting, it's the last name, sorry, the year and the page number. I want to give the same piece of info that if it's not something written by your professor, you should probably at the sentence level try to handle the clarity issue by mentioning the author and the title of whatever the original source is before you make your citation like this. The bibliographic examples I used in this look like this, that with the hanging indent. So I put a link at the bottom of this document to a separate document that shows you how to do that, and I'll cover that in a separate lesson. Thanks for watching.